Hello YouTube and welcome back to old Flads. No, you are not mistaken. This is Ace of Spades. This is the beta build of the map editor. Oh yes, the community asked for it and Jaegers have delivered it. We can build whatever we want, however we want, with the spawns you want. I'm excited. Let's get inside and let's have a look at this. Okay, so this is the first thing you'll see. This is construct library. I've actually picked the desert landscape. Now on here is your hotbar. Let's just clear those off. If you want to pick a certain terrain, you just click on it. It goes into your hotbar. You can click on another one down here, and as you can see, there's a lot to choose from. These are like wreckage buildings. You want proper buildings that people would live in? Boom. Here we are. These are all the buildings that you've seen from all the other maps. Invasion, Great Wall, that sort of thing, okay? You'll be able to pick those and just chuck them into your map. You could literally create an entire map made up of all the other maps. That would be epic. I'm not sure how good it would be to play in, but it would look fantastic. So these are also nature. These relate to the desert pack that I've picked. The props are, there's something that you might overlook, but they're actually very important. Like a barrel, for example, in the right place will offer great cover if you're trying to move into a certain position. It might give you somewhere just to rest up, to get away from certain people, and it just adds a bit of immersion to it as well, which is always an important thing, even in an FPS game where you're rushing about all the time. Roads and bridges, these are pretty basic in the desert pack because there weren't that many deserts when it was supposed to be set, I suppose. If you pick the urban one, you are in for a huge treat. You could build the M25. It would look fantastic. Not sure how it would play, but it would look fantastic. Signs and banners just add a little touch to the sort of spawn areas that you can have blue flag for blue, green flag for green. You get the idea. Okay, so let's move in and let me show you. This is the map that I actually built during the testing phase. Yes, I am flying. That's correct. You can fly over here, taking a look around at various points that you've built. And when you come into these maps, you can see these green sort of rolling plain area. That's what this entire map looked like. None of this was here. I put the whole lot in, and that's the beauty of this. There is so much you could add for whatever reason you fancy. These prefabs here are of prison buildings. That's just a prison house. That's a water tower. This is just a massive prison complex. And as you can see, I've also picked, when I press comma to get into the construct library, which is what I showed you earlier, okay? You press full stop or period, so you guys in America, you get the bases. So you pick where the bases go, you pick the size of the bases, pick the size of the spawns, pick the type of the spawn, and you also pick the crate drops. Now this is something that's very interesting to me, crate drops. I quite like the idea of people sniping, especially now in the custom games you can take off things like the lasers or seeing where people came from, so you can put respawn to 0, which means people do not see where you got shot from. You could hide the entire time now in those game modes. I love that. I think that's great from an FPS, especially when you've got maps that are pretty big in size. Okay, I think it's nice that some people, if they want to camp the whole time, let them camp. They might not be effective, but at least they're having fun. So in order to help with that, at the top of these very high points, as you can see here, you want to snipe from here, and you run out of ammo, it's a pretty long way down. No, it's not. I've added crates for you so you could get health and you can get bullets. Don't like that? Don't put them in. That's the beauty of it. This is my map. I made it. I can do anything I want in it, and so can you when this is released. This gun I've got here is the cannon that you'll all be familiar with, and you can spam it for mass destruction. It's a pretty uncouth, rough around the edges type of destruction, but as you can see, it's pretty effective. This is a block blower. It will actually punch out the blocks you want. So when you're building caves and stuff, if the inside looks a bit square to you, pull out the block blower, put stalactites, stalagmites in there, add a bit of definition to those caves that you've put in, add a bit of definition to pretty much anything you want. Now this tree pack, nature pack, was actually from the grasslands, I believe, when I built the map originally. So these are pine, firs. They're one of the two anyway. Now with regards to mechanics, I went for mechanics over aesthetics, and I chose that I would have 2 spawn points which will stop spawn rate, which is a problem in a lot of the maps that we have already, is spawn rate. The second spawn, you can even put a third. I think there's a maximum of 4 you can put in. 4 different spawn locations. That's going to completely remove spawn rate. That is one problem out the way, simply by doing that there. If you're playing a 22-man server, for example, you've got 5 enemies camping there, 6 enemy camping there. Just let everyone die, and then 12 man and then 11 man spawn rush it. Okay, spawn rush, break through the rape, and then go down, kill the other people, go on to the objective, win the match. That's as simple as that. Now these mountains that I've created, if we get back into the map editor side of it, basically the way I did this, because it was all flat, is I took a very basic, it wasn't this one particularly, but I took a very basic terrain structure, placed it down, then I put another one on top of it, and just ended up building it up. Now these ones that are snow capped, they're a different type of mountain, but I had to build up the whole thing in order to get them up to the height I wanted. The idea behind this whole thing was that I had blues that side, greens that side, but optional spawns for each team at each end of the mountain range. That means that firstly you can't get spawn rape, secondly it also means that you can have tactics with regards to where you're going to spawn and how you're going to approach different objectives. This objective, for example, is very close to that green spawn. It's also very close to that green spawn. So you would expect the greens to dominate that area. But from here, the blues can spawn, get up onto this mountain and shoot straight down into it. That's the other beauty of being able to design your own map. I can almost force the action into various places because I placed these various bases myself. Now just press H and get rid of those hints and tips. From here, as you can see, that is open. That is a very open area. You want to defend that? Guess what? You're going to have to build. Building is going to be a vital part for my maps personally, as is the removal of spawn rape, as is key locations. Top of these mountains are a great place to snipe from. But if you're trying to defend this, that's really difficult. You're visible from that base, that spawn down there, and as they come up onto the brow of the hill, you're very visible across that sight line down through there as well. Only way to do it, build up, guys. I want to see as many people building in my maps as possible. This map, by the way, is available on the Steam Workshop, or will be available on the Steam Workshop under the name of 50 Years Later. If you want to check it out, then that's great. This is the most open spawn that I've put in here, and it is for the blue side. Now, it looks open from above because there's no natural cover, but when you actually get down, what I tried to do was place things in ideal positions. So you would spawn in here. Now, there's no access really from that big tower over there unless they're shooting through a very small gap. You'd have to be very unlucky to spawn in their sight line. The only problems you would have are people shooting down from there. However, with the buildings and the second blue spawn over there, they're also getting sniped themselves. So ultimately this offers quite a good area for a spawn if you wanted to jump straight into the action. What I've done over this side instead for green is I've actually offered spawn protection. It means that it takes a bit longer to get into the game, but at the same time it means that you're pretty much safe from outside interference unless they're right in your spawn. But there's a second spawn if that's the problem for you. Now, with regards to snipers, like I said, I like people sniping. I think it's a good idea. I've tried to put in towers in places that can aim down but don't interfere with spawn areas. So this point here on top of here, you're very exposed, but you're very able to take out that base there, and you could probably reach down into the buildings through a long sight and take out those people through there. You are very exposed again though. Now the other thing that I think is important to try and do when you're developing these maps is utilise the whole map. I've got a base, this fortress is here, and if you just look on the map, it's down in the bottom left hand corner. It's very out of the way, but because there's a base here, it's utilised. Now this forest in front of it means that people can't snipe in from the mountains. Once they get inside though, there's not a lot of defence here because I've put the spawn base on top of the castle. You've got to build again in order to make that work. If you don't want to build, then you're going to get shot very, very quickly. Now this forest, another thing to obviously notice that you can take down trees. I've connected the entire forest together. You can't take down one tree without taking down a whole heap of others. That means that there's going to have to be either some pretty tight-knit close combat play, which is something that we can try and develop. As you can see, when you're down in here, it's pretty, there's a lot of branches, a lot of trees in the way, lots of places to hide, lots of ways to actually move about, and it adds to a different element. So if you wanted to take these down, you're going to take you a long time, you're probably going to get shot pretty quickly. That's another thing about having this map editor. I can build a map as I see fit, and this is pretty much the best design I came up with. It took me about 5-6 hours to make, and I had a ton of fun. That's probably the best thing about a map editor, is it's loads of fun. Now when you place these, you'll see these holes here. Now these buildings, they're not prefabs. They were normal buildings, and then I took a landscape terrain like this. You press C and it will start carving out the shape. Alright, so that allows you to sort of just shape the landscape as you see fit. It's a very important tool, very clever tool as well. And if you wanted to just level a whole bit of land, you just get out the flat platform, put it down on the ground, press C, and just start leveling out huge areas. Makes a flat platform for you to go from to build your own landscape, anything you can think of. Anyway, I think that's probably enough for now from this preview. It's gone on for a little bit too long, but thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Jagets for allowing me to sort of be part of this beta and see this amazing stuff working firsthand. It's going to be an excellent addition. There's a few changes, like I said, it's in beta. We've had some fantastic feedback. It's going to be developed further before the main release, and I can't wait for you guys to get in there, and I just want to see what you guys are going to be doing. Don't forget, this map is called 50 Years Later if you wanted to have a play in it. If you like this video, give me a like, drop a comment in below to let me know what you think about the editor itself, and thank you very much for watching. I've been Flads. Cheers and goodbye.